Good morning and welcome to another Monday Live, looking out on a lovely blue sky, really lovely day today. Actually it's nice and cool in here, which is pleasant, because I think there was 2 or 3 days last year when it was quite warm in this room, but for the most part it's out of the sun in the morning anyway. Lovely weekend. Alfie spent most of it in water, a paddling pool most of it, which to be honest was probably the best place to be. But I hope you're all keeping well. What are we going to talk about today? Well, bidding at pairs is the topic that we're on the site, and from now on we're planning generally to have one theme per month. So for example, bidding at pairs at the moment, I think next month is end play we're talking about, etc. So we'll talk about our little seminar, have that in our little seminar. On the Fridays we are talking about competitive bidding and being annoyed when people get in the way, and I will show you an example of that because we're going to be thinking about that with our hand evaluation hand. And then I'll mention our special offers. On the site we're playing bridge now. We actually, those members are able to play games of bridge, as it were, and we've got sort of five or six per week. We might change that after a little while. There's some are more popular than others. I think that's probably the best way of putting that. Also thought about the teams last week. Well, I've been playing once a month something called Point a Board, which is essentially a way of sort of playing pairs tactics with teams, but it's pretty harsh. So what I'm going to do is I'm hoping to maybe play sort of almost real pairs by comparing with other pairs who've played the board. So we'll just play one table, as it were, and play against each other against the rest of the field, and we will see how that goes. Okay, because I think that's more realistic, because that's much closer to the game you play. But we won't be playing that next. We won't be playing that next month because it's all done in advance. But the month after, that's going to be the plan, and hopefully that'll be fun because we want to change things up. After all, in a couple of weeks, we'll have been going 52 weeks as a membership site. If you add in, of course, all of the charity shows we did, it's been going a lot longer than a year, but it's nearly a year. Playing in pairs. Pairs is the normal game you play. So in fact, bidding at pairs is the normal game that most people play. When I mentioned something called teams, that is, I know a lot of you play teams as well, but it's a less common form of the game that you'll play. Most clubs play duplicate pairs or pairs most of the time. I know a lot of you would call it, shorten it to duplicate, but pretty much most games of bridge we play a duplicate. The difference is pairs is when you play as a pair and compete against other pairs, whereas teams you play as a foursome or maybe even an octet or something like that. Okay, let's start with the Q Plus hand there, the hand evaluation, which is a legacy, as it were, from last Friday. And it's the topic that we're dealing with. So you've got a nice hand here as South, and you start the bidding, and then we're going to think about evaluating the hand. So it goes a club, pass, a heart, nice and simple. You're thinking lovely things, and then 2 diamonds comes along. Okay, so the topic we're talking about is being uncomfortably annoyed, as it were, by your opponents. We've had jump over calls, weak jump over calls, weak preemptive over calls coming in. Yes, last week. This week we're going to have this annoying 2 diamond bid coming in here. So you've opened a club. It's got a pass, a heart, your plan had been a spade. Have a think about it, and we will come back to that hand. We'll come back to that hand after we've done our little seminar. Okay, so so we're evaluating the hand as usual, okay, but we're also thinking, you know, what are our options, okay? And that's actually going to be the topic that we are doing next Friday, or this Friday, I should say. Okay, So just coming back to me then, don't forget, those of you who are members, we've got our prize draw at the end of June, so it'll be at the beginning of July. That's a chance to win a bridge weekend for a founder member, but we're also going to have another prize, a £50 voucher for those who aren't founder members. The reason it's a founder member prize is because they've been on for 52 weeks, so they deserve it. So that'll be a bridge weekend for two for the lucky winner, and to be in that, all you need to do is be a founder member and play on our site once in the BMB club this month. So good luck in that. Should be exciting, I hope. And we'll give it, you know, there's not many special conditions, but you can't hold on to the prize forever. You'll have to spend it, I think, usually by the end of June, I think it is, of next year, not this year. Okay, let's go to the PowerPoint here. Let's go to the PowerPoint. So what are we thinking? So again, just to remind you, I've put the full title there, duplicate pairs. Duplicate pairs. As I say, you'll often shorten it to duplicate, and the reason why I don't call it duplicate is because actually teams are duplicate teams. So duplicate is simply when you duplicate the boards. Okay, it's simply when you duplicate the boards. Pairs is when you play as a twosome, teams is when you play as more. So we're talking about the normal game, which is playing pairs, which you play in your club most of the time. So on the site, we've got the seminar up there, and there was lots of keys areas of bidding. What we're going to focus on today is the choice of game, and we're going to decide whether to play in 4 of a major or 3 no trumps. Okay, and my solution is very simple, very simple. If you're just tossing a coin, then you should generally favour playing in the major. Okay, because most of the time you play in an 8-card fit, hopefully you'll be able to make a ruff in the play that's going to give you your extra trick. Okay, so although 3 no trump scores an extra 10 points, and when we look at a traveller in a moment, you'll see why that extra 10 points is important. Clearly, if you make an extra trick in the major game, you don't care about the extra 10 points because you get an extra 30, as it were, for your over trick. Okay, so let me just show you a simple example, which is the one that I've taken from the seminar. If you've already seen the seminar, you'll recognise this one. Okay, very simple example where you're choosing between 2 making contracts, but one of them is going to score more than the other. So if you were playing rubber bridge or teams of 4, it would not matter whether you finished in 3 no trumps really or 4 spades. You wouldn't really be bothered. It'd be very little difference. Playing pairs, it really does. So here it would go 1 no trump from West, and as most of us would usually, we would bid Stayman because we might have a fit. And if we have an 8-card fit, most of the time we are going to aim to play in 4 spades. So here it goes 1 no trump, 2 clubs, 2 spades, and now East would jump to 4 spades. Notice they are both balanced hands, but the key is all you need is 1 ruff to make an extra trick. So here, let's assume spades are breaking. I hope everybody's happy. You're going to make a comfortable 10 tricks in anything you play. So playing in 3 no trumps, you'll make 4 spades, 4 diamonds and 2 aces. 3 no trumps plus 1 feels good, but look at 4 spades. In 4 spades, because you've got the power of trumps, if the trumps break 3-2, you have a trump left in both hands, and surely you could ruff a heart. And as we're going to see at one table, one very, very greedy table, they're going to end up making 2 ruffs, but that's another matter. But 1 ruff, 1 heart ruff, changes 10 tricks into 11 tricks. Can you see that? So let's put that up. Okay, now a couple of people said they were finding it difficult to read the travellers in the seminar. I mean, I've simplified it because I want it to be, I don't want too much jargon on there. So the second column is the contract and the tricks, if that's okay. not many travellers look like this, but all the scores are one-sided. So let's pretend we're north-south. North-south are playing the contract. I should probably say east-west, but anyway. And the key is the highest score gets the top score. The lowest score is getting the bottom score. Okay. So here you have made 3 no trumps plus 1. Pairs 1, 2 and 3, they do not score well for it, do they? Because they haven't beaten anybody. They've all made it. They've made the 10 tricks that are obvious, but they get a really bad score. Okay. Now the match point column is how much I'm giving you out of 16. Okay. You don't necessarily know know about the mathematics. It's a computer does it for you. How much am I going to give you out of 16 for 430? I'm just going to give you 2, I'm afraid. Whereas look at pair 9 at the bottom. They have got 480. Now that's only 50 points more than 430. They don't deserve 16, but I'm giving them 16. And if you think about it, 16 out of 16 is 100%. 2 out of 16 is horrible, about 12%. Okay, so 12.5 I should say, if you want the exact number. So every trick counts, every 10 point counts. If you make the same number of tricks in no trumps as you do in spades, that's a different matter. And we're going to look at that decision-making process in a moment. Okay, but every trick counts. Now, to make 4 spades plus 2 would have been tough and it would have been risky. You'd have needed to rough 2 clubs. But, you know, someone managed it and that, in a way, is worth it. So no trumps score an extra 10 points. So if you have 2 very, very, very balanced hands with no roughing potential, maybe no doubletons, then sometimes 3 no trumps is going to be better. But if in doubt, if you've got a fit, let's play in the major. Okay. Now, I've told you that I want you to play in the major over 3 no trumps. Now, as you all know, that's not always true, because sometimes you'll look at a traveller and you'll think, but I thought I was supposed to play in 4 spades. They're making the same number of tricks as me. That's not fair. So how can we identify that? Well, the first thing is when you have a 4-3-3-3 shape, you do not expect to make any roughs. So if you can get across to your partner that you're very, very flat, if your partner feels that he's very flat as well, you could possibly choose to play in 3 no trumps. Does that make sense? Okay. Now, what about your short holdings? We all know that a small doubleton isn't very nice in no trumps, and hopefully we might get a rough out of it. But when you've got sort of middle honours in those shortages, queen tens and ace jacks and things like that, suddenly what you might find is you don't need a rough. If you've got queen jacks and tens in those short suits, you might lose a trick, but then maybe you've got a winner afterwards. You don't have to take a rough. And I'm going to show you what I mean. It sounds a bit complicated now. But your queen, jacks and tens, or your QJTs as it were, QJTs are going to be really useful in no trumps. Whereas, as we talked about, I don't know how long ago hand evaluation was, but when we have aces, we often think of suit contracts. So your top cards are useful in suit contracts because you can rough the rest. Your queens, jacks and tens tend to be more valuable in 3 no trump. Okay? So let's look at 2 hands that are very similar. Have a look at this one and see how you think you might start the bidding on this one. So West is the opening bidder. And West opens 1 spade. Okay, West opens 1 spades. And I think East is just going to bid 3 spades. Seems a reasonable descriptive bid. Okay, so 1 spade, 3 spades seems reasonable. And now, hopefully, West can bid 3 no trumps. It's a beautiful descriptive bid. It's not ending the auction, it's saying, partner, I am flat. Can you choose between 4 spades and 3 no trumps? Okay, please choose between 4 spades and 3 no trumps. Now that's really, really important because East has a decision to make here. West is saying, look, I'm not going to make a ruff in my hand, so if you don't think you're going to take a ruff in your hand, let's play in 3 no trumps. I know it's unusual, partner. Okay. Now, East has a decision to make. East has a couple of aces, and his short suit is very weak. In fact, both of his short suits are either have an ace or very small cards. Okay, so that says to me, look, partner, thanks for the suggestion, but I'm going to bid 4 spades here because my queens and jacks are not in my short suits. So and look, let's be honest, most of the time we have 8. Bernard says play in 4 spades. So you've got to be pretty sure when you make that decision that you're going to play in 3 no trumps. So here I would expect East to just go to 4 spades. Obviously, if East had a singleton or something like that, he's bidding 4 spades straight away. It's really important this. West is bidding 3 no trumps to give you a choice. He is sure he wants to play in game. He wants you to choose between 4 spades and 3 no trumps. Are you happy with that? And so most of the time, East is probably going to bid 4 spades. But saying thank you for the information. It's important though you use it for a reason, because otherwise you're giving information away to your opponents at all as well. So when they defend the contract, they'll probably guess that West has 4-3-3-3. Now, as you're used to, there'll be another hand coming up. So let's have a look. Let's change the hand. So again, West is the same. West has exactly the same hand. The bidding goes 1 spade, and then 3 spades, and then 3 no trumps. Now your partner's saying, I'm completely flat, partner, what do you think? Now this is subtly different now. You've got a jack, a king and a 10 in your shorter suits. Okay, there's a lot of chance here that the king and 10 might be worth something. So you won't necessarily need to ruff to establish it. Now, it won't always be the case. The jack of hearts, again, may be a slow winner. Okay, and obviously here you can see a lot of the time, if you look at the hand before, if they'd led diamonds, they could have established diamonds and maybe even taken, you know, made 3 no trumps difficult. Okay, whereas here, if they lead a diamond, suddenly you might make 3 tricks in the suit. You may well not need a ruff. In a sense, you're probably not going to play king, ace of diamonds and ruff it. You might hope that they play diamonds at some point and give you an extra trick without a ruff. Now, you won't always be the case. If in the end the opponents defend very well and never lead diamonds and you end up having to guess and guess wrongly, you may well find that 3 no trumps, that 4 spades works better. But a lot of the time your opponents will lead their strongest suit. And their strongest and longest, well, longest suit, sorry, is diamonds, isn't it? And so it wouldn't surprise me at some point that they, well, maybe as the opening lead, they lead diamonds. Remember, if one of them's got 5 diamonds, there's no reason to think he won't. Suddenly, you don't need a diamond ruff, do you? And where else were you going to take a ruff? So I'm going to pass 3 no trumps there. Okay. Remember, on the last hand, you had a small doubleton diamond. And then, of course, a diamond lead would be nasty because it attacks your weakness. Here, king 10, the strength in your shortages makes passing 3 no trump reasonable. Won't always work, but I think it's reasonable. Can you see the idea? So I need to have a good reason to select 3 no trumps if I know we've got a good fit in spades. Okay, let's try another one and see how we get on this one. So you open a diamond here, it goes 1 heart from your partner, and you choose to rebid 1 no trump. Okay, so 1 diamond, 1 heart, 1 no trump. Okay, showing 15 to 17. And your partner jumps to 3 hearts. Okay, and you're playing that as a forcing bid. Okay, you don't have to, you can play in different ways, but generally normal bidding, jump bids over 1 no trump is saying, partner, I think game is on. Okay, for me it would show 6 hearts. So I'm telling you, your partner has 6 hearts and you've got a decision to make. Really what I want you to do is choose between 3 no trumps and 4 hearts. I want you to choose between 3 no trumps and 4 hearts. Okay. So you've got to fit in hearts, that's important. Okay. So you're happy playing in hearts, and of course what I've been saying is top tricks, we go for the suit, QJTs or even King QJTs. I'll stick to QJTs. KQ QJTs is too difficult to say. And that's the key here. Ace King, all top tricks. You know, so not unreasonable to go for 6 hearts, not 6 hearts, or 4 hearts, I should say. Okay, with aces and top cards play in the game, the major suit. Okay, so there's your partner's hand. Your partner, remember, knows you've got 15 to 17, so wants to play in game. And although he's just got ace, king, king, he does want to give you the opportunity. I mean, some of you might have just jumped to 4 hearts with the east hand. I think it's much better. Giving your partner a choice, because your partner could have a lot of different kinds of hands, as we're going to see. So here, clearly, I think 4 hearts is the best place to be. Okay. And the beauty of 4 hearts, actually, is you've got, you know, clearly in no trumps, they lead a club, and you might not even make the contract, let alone anything else. But in 4 hearts, hopefully if hearts break, you could play the ace king and then play the ace king of diamonds and establish a diamond suit. So that would be rather nice. Okay. Okay, here we go again. A diamond, 1 heart, 1 no trump. Okay, so you've evaluated your hand as 17. You've got a 10 of clubs, but you've also got a bear, king, queen, jack of spades. So I think that's normal. Remember, I played the 1 no trump rebid as 15 to 17. Okay. Once again, your partner jumps to 3 hearts. Now, the reason your partner's jumped to 3 hearts rather than simply bidding 4 hearts is because he wants you to choose. So don't think, oh my goodness, if I bid 3 no trumps, my partner will blame me if it goes down. Your partner's giving you a choice. He can always bid 4 hearts if he wants to. Okay. Remember, the roughing, the reason we might need trumps on this hand is if we had a weak suit. Whereas we would feel, looking at our hand, that we've got double stoppers in spades and clubs. So on the previous hand, they were able to lead a suit, knock the ace of clubs out, and suddenly we could be going down. Whereas here, surely it looks like we've got double stoppers. And where's our partner going to need to rough anything? I mean, there's a fair chance that we've got 2 tricks in clubs, 2 tricks in spades, and hopefully we can develop some diamonds. So here, it wouldn't be a surprise that 3 no trumps would make exactly the same number of tricks as hearts. And when that is the case, the extra 10 points are really important. So we can try Rubens' Quidgets, which sounds as if it's from Harry Potter, doesn't it? Quidgets, Quijits. Okay, Quidgets. I've not come across that. That's okay, Quidgets. Or your QJTs. But you can see that with all of those, in the short suits particularly. So remember, hearts aren't a short suit, because partner's got 6 of them. But in your 2 short suits, and the suits that have not been bids, you're expecting them to be led. You're expecting here that you've got the power to back it up. Because remember, your partner is possibly sitting, and we've seen, he's sitting there with 2 doubletons in clubs and spades. So he's thinking, look, I know 4 hearts is probably the right contract partner, but I'm going to give you a choice. And if he trusts you, okay, yeah, but we're including the 10s. So queens and jacks are quacks, but the 10s are important in this equation, particularly in those short suits, doubletons and things like that. Ace 10 is often a holding that give, you know, opposite queen to 3, okay, that will often give you an extra trick. So ace 10 opposite queen to 3, if they lead the suit, you've got a nice little bit there. And so, but quacks are useful. We talk about quacks in slams, in no trump slams, queens and jacks. But Quidgets I quite like. We'll take that on, Ruben. Fine, Quidgets. So there you go. We got 3 no trumps there. And as you can see, because you've got the double stoppers, you're able to make, I think, the same number of tricks in both contracts. I think in both contracts you are likely to lose 3 tricks at the most. In theory, I guess you could, let's have a look, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. You might even make 11 tricks in no trumps without needing to establish the hearts. If you make 2 spades, 2 clubs, 5 diamonds and 2 hearts, you could in theory end up with more tricks in no trumps. Can you see that? So, you know, obviously you're not necessarily going to play that way, but it's interesting. So what you're saying, partner, is brilliant. I loved, it's great that I know how many hearts you've got and what you've got in your hand, partner, but I think 3 no trumps is right. So what we're doing is discussing with each other. Now, you can't always do that. Don't feel that you know, sometimes dummy comes down and you think, oh, it'd be nice to have a discussion about this. But the 2 auctions we saw were 1 spade, 3 spades, 3 no trumps. To me, when it goes 1 spade, 3 spades, 3 no trumps shows specifically 4, 3, 3, 3. Because remember, if you've got doubletons, you know, generally you're going to go for the major suit game. Okay, here, I think East has neatly described his hand. He's saying, partner, you know, I've got my hearts here, you decide. And that means we're trusting each other. If I'd had a 7th heart or maybe a singleton somewhere in the East hand, I'd probably just bid 4 hearts. Okay, but because you've got the 2 doubletons, it's not unreasonable to trust your partner a bit. You won't always get it right. If I took the 10 of clubs out of the West hand, I'd probably still bid 3N. And in theory, on a club lead, you know, things might go a little bit pear-shaped. Okay, but King, Queen, 10 makes it easy for you there, I hope. Okay, so that is our little seminar for today. We've got the tip. Tip's going to follow on, so we'll look at that later. And we will see how it is. What we'll do now, I think, is we'll go back to that hand evaluation hand that we looked at. And what we basically looked at, when I picked up the hand, I quite like it. It's lovely when you've got longer clubs than spades because you feel you can just bid your spades. So you can bid 1 club and then rebid in 1 spade. Okay? So 1 club pass, a heart from north, pass from east, 1 spade from us. Everybody happy with that? So a club, pass, a heart. If East doesn't bid, we are able to bid. Oh, I haven't changed it, sorry. Oh dear. Okay, I've come back to it now. I'll get there eventually. So here it comes, you're up. So let's start again. So you've got a lovely hand here. We've looked at it. And when I've got 5 clubs and 4 spades, I like it because I can open a club and then rebid 1 spade. Okay, and remember, it's a rebidding at the 1 level and it's not a reverse. Okay, because it's still at the 1 level. 1 club, pass 1 heart, pass 1 spade. Okay. East has made 1 simple overcall against us. Now, we're both non-vulnerable. 2 diamonds does make it awkward. Okay, now, so what you've got to think to yourself here is you've got to sort of stick with your rules for the most part. Okay, now, some of you are going to have conventions that you've agreed with your partner, and there are a variety of conventions that you can play in this position. I think the most important part, though, here is that a 2 spade bid is a strong bid. Okay, so a 2 spade bid in this auction would be regarded as a forcing bid. Okay, partner, I'm bidding a suit above my first bid suit at the 2 level. Okay, that is tricky, but it's normal, isn't it? So when I open 1 club, I say to my partner, look, if I rebid above 2 clubs in a new suit, then I am strong. So I don't think we should be bidding 2 spades here. Is everybody happy with that? Okay, so that's the first thing. So what options have you got? Well, you've got 2. You've got the choice of pass and you've got the choice of double. I think naturally double would be the right bid on this hand. So if you play completely natural bidding, for me, double would be for takeout. I think that's important. If there are no trump bids in the auction, we tend to play doubles for takeout until every suit is bid. Or we've got a, you know, maybe we're in the 4th round of bidding or something like that. Okay, so in this kind of auction, double would be suggesting the kind of hand you had. Now, some people will play it differently. You do have to understand that. So some people might mention something called a support double. Some people might say that double shows they've got a stronger kind of opening hand. Okay, now that is up to you and you can agree with it. But if you're playing completely naturally, so if I sit down with a random partner, I would assume that I could double with this hand. The usefulness of it is generally the doubler is the one with the shorter diamonds, and that's something we'll be looking at constantly on Friday for the next couple more. We've looked at it last Friday and we'll look at it again this Friday. The idea that it's the length you have in the opponent's suit that allows you to bid. If you play it in a different way, the double, you then have to change the rest of your system, or you have to say, look, if both of us have bid, then we have to bid over this 2 diamond bid. So if South passes, North would have to make a bid. Now, I don't like that particularly, but you can play that, i.e. we're forced to bid, partner. Okay, the double in this auction would surely promise 4 spades, simply because there's only one unbid suit. Okay, so it would make sense to me. For me, it would show a basic opening with 4 spades. Partner, I want to compete for the hand. Okay, so for me, double would just say, partner, I'm short in diamonds, let's bid. Okay, if that makes sense. For some of you, those of you who play a support double, don't worry about it, please, if you don't. A support double here, double would simply show 3-card heart support. Okay, all right, so that's if you've ever come across a support double or something like that. I have done in the past. You know, playing natural bidding I find more useful though in auctions like this, particularly when the unbid suit is the major. When the unbid suit is the minor, you don't care about it so much. So there's a massive difference. You know, so if it's got a heart from South, 1 spade from North, 2 diamond over the call, very different now. We're not really worried about the double showing the other suit. Here, for me, double shows 4 spades and any strength. Okay, and partner will know, of course, that I've got 5 clubs and 4 spades because of my bidding. That's important. So partner will be in a great position to judge. I mean, let's open up the hand so we can see the kind of hand, what would be going on in the hand. You can see the full hand. I mean, East has got a lovely overcall there. So, you know, East can do as he please here. I'm going to double. North will of course be happy to bid 2 spades, and whether the opponents go on, I don't know. No, they don't, so we'll finish in 2 spades. This is just a competitive double. It's just in a normal competitive auction. Sorry, it's not called a competitive double, sorry, it's simply a takeout double. Competitive double usually implies the 3 level and that we might end up in their contract. It would be natural bidding. Remember, doubles of suit bids when only suits have been bid in the auction are generally for takeout at low levels. Okay, and generally it's your shape that matters, not your strength. However, there will be times that you don't quite know the strength that you've got between each other. And the one thing is, of course, we could have bid 2 spades if we had a strong hand. So ironically, if I had 16 to 19 points, I think I would have bid 2 spades in the auction. So this double is probably showing the weaker hands. Can you see? So with 2, you know, I'm going to bid 2 spades when I'm strong and distributional. I'm doubling when I'm actually weaker. Can you see that idea? Anyway, we're going to be covering that in a bit more detail on our Fridays and taking a few questions, etc. And so we'll see why we do what we do and look at different examples about where we should be with it. Okay, special offer this week is the teams. So on Wednesday night, we'll be playing our teams of 4. That's usual teams play. Don't forget, you can get that at half price. Just a quick mention to those of you, a couple of things. If you go to the holiday site, you'll see that we've got our Christmas being advertised there. So if you are looking to do Christmas holidays, we're not doing an exotic one this time. We are just doing Christmas in Denham Grove with Will and Sylvia, or Christmas up in Lincolnshire in Grantham with Lynn Hilton. So if you fancy one of those, press on those buttons, and they're usually great fun. And Cornwall, we've added an extra Cornwall in on the 7th of March next year. I'm not doing that one. Will and Sylvia are going to take that one, and thanks to them, there's going to be a nice small party, hopefully of 32, so it'll be nice and comfortable. Obviously, the week after we're sold out. That's got about 45 or 46 of us, or well, between 44 and 48, so that's a nice party as well. So 2 nice house parties down there in Cornwall, so do look at that. There are not many spaces left, I will add, so do bear that in mind. So if you do want to have a go on there, give them a buzz, and you can see some of the details on board. Don't forget though, the Cornwall is through Cornwall Discovered, a nice new company that you can have a look at, whereas all the UK events other than Cornwall are on our site, or you can of course phone our office if you like. And the teams will send out another promotion of that, usually on Wednesday, but you can get that at half price, which is just £3 to hear my dulcet tones. You never know, the rain might have come by then as well. Okay, what are we going on to? We're going to look at our tip of the day. Tip of the day, so let's see, and the tip of the day is the same theme really. Again, we're trying to keep it simple, but this is, I mean, the hand isn't particularly simple this time, but when you're playing duplicate pairs, we're looking at the play now, greed is good. Now you've heard me use that expression a lot, and as a novice it can be really difficult to understand it, but because most of the time you will be playing the game of duplicate pairs, you've got to understand the concept of greed is good. So making your contract will not necessarily get you a good score. Understand that over tricks are valuable. Okay, so understand that when you bid 3 no trumps, because so often I will get, I'm going back to live bridge here, but I'll get people coming up to me not understanding how they came bottom, because they would have made a lot of contracts. And what I of course explained to them is that although they made 3 no trumps on one board, they got 0 for it. I mean, let's look at an example traveller. I mean, again, what I'm doing here is making an exaggeration of a traveller, shall we say, but I'm doing this deliberately. Here you've got a traveller where everybody finished in the same contract. I know that doesn't happen often. Everybody finished in the same contract. Okay. 7 of the pairs made the normal 10 tricks. 1 pair made 9 tricks. So pair 4 made their contract. But look at the column on the right. The computer assigned them the score of 0. So they have made 400 points on the board, but they get 0. Okay. Whereas if you look at pair 9 at the bottom, they have been a bit greedy, haven't they? I think they've been a bit greedy, and they have made an extra over trick. They've got 16 on the board. 16 out of 16 is worth 100%. 0 out of 16 is obviously worth 0. But look at how close the scores are. There's only a tiny little difference between the scores, but that is the difference. Greed is good. Imagine pair 9 made 3 no trumps plus 2 on this board, made 3 no trumps plus 2 on the next board, and went down on the last board. He'd have got 16, 16 and 0. That's 100%, 100% and 0. That's good. He'd end up with about 67%, or 66666 as some of you would know. Okay, but that's a great percentage. Gambling, greed is good. Okay, greed is good. As Will's pointing out there, if you want to know how you score it, you get 2 points for every pair you beat. Pair 9 has beaten every pair. Doesn't matter how little he's beaten the pairs by. He's beaten every pair, so he gets 8 times 2. Pair 4 has not beaten anybody. Pair 4 has made his contract, but he's not beaten anybody, so he gets nothing. Okay, so making 3 no trumps gets 0, whereas making the extra trick gets 16. So let's put that into context, and hopefully when we change the way we do that teams, one of the events, one of the Wednesday evening events, we will be able to put this into perspective as well. Have a look at this one, just an example on the theme. There's 3 no trumps by West, and the lead is the Jack of Spades. Have a little think. I'll let you have a little think about that. And hopefully, most of you have counted 9 tricks. So that's why nobody went down. Okay, so 9 top tricks. And I've got, don't get me wrong, when I first learnt the game, I would have been happy making 9. But I was probably being taught rubber bridge and playing as a group of 4. So we weren't comparing with other people. So if you are playing that form of the game, rubber bridge, Chicago or teams, 9 tricks is fine. I'm happy with 9. It's not going to be worth much, okay? All right. The key to this hand is that clearly you're going to make the contract. Is everybody happy? You do not have to take the 9 tricks straight away, okay? What I'm thinking here, okay, is if I take my clubs, you've got to make a lot of discards from dummy. Now, a lot of people think I'll take them, it'll squeeze the opponents. I think you're going to squeeze yourself, because you don't want, you can maybe discard 1 diamond and a spade, but you've got another 2 discards. You can't afford 2 discards in diamonds, can you? Because then they can run, they'd have all diamond winners. So the point is, as a number of people have said here, the key on the hand is I don't mind what you decide to play, whether you decide to play diamonds, whether you decide to play hearts. The key on the hand is that you've got to do it before you play clubs. So I'm going to do it quickly. Problem I'd have with playing diamonds is that even if the ace and king were in the south hand, if they win the first one and switch to hearts, you may find yourself in an awkward situation. So for me, I would be, notice I've made the club solid. I should say that. I hope everybody's happy that because the clubs are solid, you are always making 6 club tricks. And that's important. Clearly, you might need to test them as something. You don't here. I've given you the ace, king, queen, jack, 10, 9, 8. Okay, as long as you overtake the 10. So I am going to win the ace of spades here. Okay, so we want more. And that's what I'm saying. Greed is important. That's all. So I'm going to win the ace of spades, and I would run the 10 of hearts, I have to say. And I would hope to end up with a couple of, I would take a double finesse if necessarily at the end, but I'd have a good idea of what was going on the hand. And that's all. I mean, playing diamonds might work as well. The advantage of playing hearts early is it's going to be quite difficult for them to switch to diamonds, I think. Because North is the only person who can win. I have a feeling playing pairs, he's probably going to play another spade. I mean, but the key crucial is I don't mind what you do as long as you are thinking about more. Thinking about more, because greed is important. So here, relatively straightforward hand. North's led the jack of spades. I'm going to win the ace of spades and run the 10 of hearts. North would probably win the king. And well done him if he finds a diamond switch from the king 10. Okay, if he does, I'd be worried his partner was signalling under the table to him, because it would be a wild risk. Playing teams, it's a different matter. Okay, but playing pairs, leading away from his diamonds would be very odd. The only thing I would say from the North hand is when Declarer does something odd, sometimes it's worth doing something odd. And clearly, why on earth isn't Declarer playing his clubs first? Because you're sure. I mean, if those clubs weren't winners, surely he'd be playing on them. So you can probably guess that they are winners. But can you see that if North does not switch to diamonds, you make your over tricks. So you make 11 tricks. 3 hearts, 6 clubs and 2 spades. Okay? All right. I'm not, oh, sorry, it says 6 no trumps. Apologies, the slide should say 3 no trumps. I was wondering what you're saying. So it should say 3 no trumps by West. Okay, that should be 3 no trumps. It's this habit of copy and pasting. Apologies for that. Okay, so it should be 3 no trumps by West in the top left-hand corner. So I apologise for that. So having said that, if we're in 6 no trumps, we've got to do the best we can, and we'd have to. Your only hope of making 6 no trumps would be to take a double finesse in hearts, of course, and of course that's what we would do. And if I put you in 6 no trumps, I'd have given South the king and jack of hearts, of course. But you can see the point here is your greed is good. If you played all those clubs off, you'd have to discard things. Can you see? Not only that, your opponents would probably maybe signal to each other what they might want led. So as soon as you lose a heart trick, they're going to take the ace and king of diamonds if they know to do it. Okay, so here, in a sense, it's a simple hand, as long as you understand the concept of greed is good. I hope you can see that you are, even if you don't take your 9 tricks off top, if I lead a heart, the 10 of hearts, to the king or the jack, you're surely not going to lose another 4 tricks off the top. You've got your queen jack of diamonds there. So the 10 of hearts running to the jack, you would then cash your clubs out, and at that point you'd be in a good place to know perhaps what was happening in the other suits. Okay, to decide whether to take your heart finesse, and the chances are I would take it. I would take a double finesse because I've got a 75% chance of making over tricks. Can you see that? Okay, so you know 75% is good enough for me, because I'm pretty sure everybody's in 3 no trumps on this hand. You know, there's 26 points. There's not a huge amount. I suppose one pair might have got to 5 clubs or something, but you'd expect one maybe got to 6 no trumps, given what I've put on the thing. But, you know, greed is good. So I want you as a novice, those of you out there who are not experienced, I want you, if you are playing the game of duplicate pairs, I mean, don't get me wrong, if you're practicing is a different matter, but if you're playing the game of duplicate pairs, aim for more. Do not be satisfied by just making, because you will find that your scores will not be good. Okay? Cecil's asking whether South should cover the jack or not. It looks like a dodgy lead here. The 10 of hearts at trick 2, I'm thinking, oh, they're doing a bit of a dodgy one. So sometimes they might lead the 10 and just be putting the king on. So I have to say on this occasion, I might not put the jack on here, because I think that I'm not sure what that 10 of hearts is, but given that there's king, queen, jack to 6 clubs in there, it looks a bit dodgy to me. Okay, but clearly, I mean, Lewis saying there's nothing to gain. There could be. North could have had king 9 of hearts. Okay, so it's not the worst lead if even in that situation, running the 10 of hearts, seeing what happens. But I would feel that most of the time playing small is right, because sometimes you might choose to lead the 10 of hearts to see if someone covers and play to the queen anyway. So if I was, some of you might want to finesse the queen of hearts on the first round. If I was going to do that, I would lead the 10 first, because of obviously the 10 isn't necessary. I've got ace, queen, 9, 8, and of course 10, jack, suddenly a bonus. But as I say, I was planning to run it anyway. Okay, that's enough of that. I hope you enjoyed that. Let's have a look. We've got a prize winner. Our prize winner for next week says July. For July, our prize winner, I've got to find some cards now. I've got a 2. I need an ace. I need an ace. Our prize winner is Edith Brosnan. Edith Brosnan. So well done, Edith. And I've got a draw. So I've got my 4 cards as usual. Ace, 2, 3, 4, I hope. Quick shuffle. Okay, let's choose one. That one there is the 2 of clubs, Edith. 2 of clubs. You will end up playing against me on my table. So that's east-west against me, if you fancy that, with a partner of your choice, or I can supply a partner for you. I'll, of course, send you an email at some point as well. So well done, Edith. And I think that should be that. Oh, I just wanted to mention charity events again, because I haven't had many. So I'd love, if you want to promote online charity events or live charity, please give us the details, and we're happy. It doesn't matter if they're with competitors or whoever. We just want to promote your charity bridge. So please, if you know someone who's running a charity online event or live event, please give us the details, and we will put them on our charity, because we haven't got any, I don't think, at the moment. Of course, you can still send in your stamps for charity, so you can see that on the charity. I don't know if I've got that somewhere. Oh, there, maybe. There's the stamps thing there for little voice, so you can still send those in. But please do send us any charity events you've got, because we'd be very pleased to promote them and get more people to your event, because of course we know how much people have been missing raising charity. We're going to get to the bidding quiz in a moment, don't worry. Now don't forget, the bidding quizzes that we're doing at the moment are taking us a little bit further. So they are taking us and taking us a little bit towards more advanced bridge. So I'm testing you a little bit more, because on the site, of course, we've got a novice quiz at the moment, a novice bidding quiz. So we thought, why not test you a little bit more? We might drift back down a little bit later. Okay. If you have got a charity, please email us. Okay. Please email us. I've seen someone there, and we're quite happy to support. So, but please do email us with the details. Ideally with a poster. Okay, a little poster or some kind of thing. Okay. There you go. There's your bidding quiz. You've opened a club. And we've got an interesting auction. 1 club, 1 heart, 1 spade, 2 hearts. 1 club, 1 heart, 1 spade, 2 hearts. Okay, and those of you who were with me on the Friday before last will have an advantage here, because we discussed this kind of sequence. Quite important to know. Okay, so 1 club, 1 heart, 1 spade, 2 hearts. What do you bid? Okay, what do you bid? Okay. Okay, at some point someone will put the right answer up for me, then I'll be more excited. But you can go and see the answer on our site. Okay, remember, you don't have to be a member. As a member you can just get it, but also as a non-member just give it. Okay. No. Oh, I'm getting closer now. I'm not telling you what the right one is. You'll have to guess. Okay, but most people, what I will say is a lot of you have got the right idea. I think that 1 spade bid by East should promise 5. Okay, I think that should promise 5. Okay, you don't have to play it that way, but I think it should. Anyway, have some fun with that. Have a look at the answer there. Hope you enjoyed today. Enjoy the weather. Let's really enjoy it. And hopefully see some of you on the site. Don't forget to go to the holiday site if you want to see what we're doing. I'm hoping to be introducing more as we go, and we'll see how we get on. Thanks for your time. See a few of you through the week. Don't forget you got those teams on special offer, so I might see a few more of you there. Thanks very much, and see you soon.